Have you ever felt different? Like you don't quite belong in this world? Like there's something deeper calling you? Something you can't quite explain? What if I told you that feeling isn't a curse, it's a sign? A sign that you've been chosen for something greater. Today, we're diving into the 10 undeniable signs that you are chosen by God. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll see your struggles in a completely different light. So if you've been feeling lost, overwhelmed, or like your life doesn't make sense, this message is for you. Stay with me. 1. You faced extraordinary trials. Let's start with the most powerful sign. Your life has been harder than most. I'm not talking about everyday problems. I'm talking about trials that broke you, losses that changed you, pain that nobody else seems to understand. You've probably asked yourself, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Here's the truth that most people don't understand. God doesn't place ordinary challenges on ordinary people. The greatest prophets, leaders, and spiritual warriors in history were all forged in the fire of suffering. Think about it. Moses was abandoned as a baby and raised in exile. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into prison. David faced a giant when he was just a boy. Job lost everything, his family, his health, his wealth. Were these punishments? No, they were preparations. Your trials aren't random. They're intentional. They're designed to strip away everything false, everything weak, everything that doesn't serve your divine purpose. They're shaping you into someone who can handle the weight of your calling. If your life has been easy, you're probably not chosen for something extraordinary. But if you walk through fire and somehow you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, that's not luck. That's divine protection. That's a sign. Sign number 2. You feel deeply different from others. Sign number 2, you've always felt like an outsider. Even in a room full of people, you feel alone. Not because you're antisocial or weird, but because you operate on a different frequency. Your conversations go deeper, your questions probe further, your concerns reach beyond the surface level it satisfies most people. While others talk about the latest gossip or trends, you're thinking about purpose, meaning, truth, legacy. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You see, when God chooses someone, he sets them apart. The Hebrew word for holy literally means set apart. If you're chosen, you're not meant to fit in with everyone else. You're meant to stand out, to be different, to march to the beat of a drum that only you can hear. Your weirdness is actually your uniqueness. Your inability to blend in is actually your divine distinction. And that feeling of not belonging is because you don't belong here, not permanently. You're just passing through, preparing for some greater. The chosen ones are always the ones who don't quite fit the mold. Here's sign number 3. Deep down, you know you're meant for something big. You might not know exactly what it is yet. You might not have the roadmap or the details, but there's this burning conviction inside you that whispers, you're not here by accident. You have a mission. This isn't ego. This isn't delusion. This is divine knowing. Chosen people carry within them a sense of destiny. It's like having a compass that always points toward your purpose, even when you can't see the destination. You might doubt yourself sometimes. You might feel inadequate, but you can never fully shake that feeling that you're meant for more. This is God's way of keeping you moving forward, even when the path is unclear. This is his voice reminding you not to settle, not to give up, not to accept a mediocre life when you were created for greatness. If you've always known somewhere deep inside that your life has meaning beyond what you can currently see, that's not fantasy, that's prophecy. That's your soul recognizing the call that God placed on your life before you were even born.
4. You've experienced divine interventions. Sign number 4, you've experienced miracles that you can't explain. Think back on your life. How many times should you have failed, but somehow you succeeded? How many times should you have been destroyed, but somehow you survived? How many times did doors close only for better doors to open at exactly the right moment? These aren't coincidences. These are divine interventions. God protects his chosen ones. He guides them. He makes ways where there seems to be no way. You might call it luck, fate, or good timing, but those are just different names for God's hand at work in your life. Maybe you were in an accident that should have killed you, but you walked away unscathed. Maybe you lost a job that devastated you, only to find a better opportunity you never would have pursued otherwise. Maybe you met someone at the exact moment you needed them most. These are breadcrumbs. These are signs that you're being guided, protected, and positioned for your purpose. God doesn't waste his miracles on people who aren't part of his plan. If you can look back on your life and see a pattern of supernatural protection and provision, you're not just lucky, you're chosen. 5. You have an intense spiritual sensitivity. Sign number 5, you're unusually sensitive to the spiritual realm. You feel things others don't feel. You sense things others don't sense. You can walk into a room and immediately pick up on the energy, the tension, the unspoken dynamics. You have vivid dreams that feel like messages. You experience synchronicities that seem too perfect to be random. Some people might call you overly sensitive or too emotional, but what they don't understand is that you're tuned into a frequency most people can't access. Chosen people are spiritual antennas. They're bridges between the physical and the spiritual. They can sense God's presence, hear his whispers, and discern his direction in ways that others miss entirely. This gift comes with a cost, though. You feel pain more deeply. You're affected by negativity more intensely. You can't just turn off your awareness and live in blissful ignorance like many people do. But this sensitivity isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. It's what allows you to be a healer, a truth teller, a guide. It's what enables you to see through deception and tap into divine wisdom. It's proof that you're wired for a higher purpose. 6. You're drawn to helping others. Sign number 6, you have a deep, almost compulsive need to help others. Even when you're struggling yourself, you find yourself drawn to people who are hurting. You feel their pain as if it were your own. You can't turn away from suffering. You're the friend people call at 3 a.m. You're the one who shows up when everyone else disappears. This isn't just kindness. This is calling. God chooses people with compassionate hearts to carry out his work on earth. If you're chosen to be a vessel of his love, his healing, his grace. You're here to be light in dark places, hope for hopeless people, and strength for those who can't stand on their own. But here's what you need to understand. Your gift of compassion must be balanced with boundaries. Chosen people often burn themselves out trying to save everyone. You can't pour from an empty cup. Part of your journey is learning to help others without losing yourself in the process. Your desire to serve isn't random. It's divine programming. God placed that mission in your heart because he trusts you to carry it out. 7. You've experienced spiritual attacks. Here's a sign that most people don't talk about, but it's crucial. You faced unusual spiritual attacks. I'm talking about periods where everything goes wrong at once, where you're hit with depression, anxiety, fear, and doubt seemingly out of nowhere, where people turn against you for no reason, where you face obstacles that feel almost supernatural in their intensity. Why does this happen? Because darkness recognizes light. And if you're chosen by God to do significant work, you can bet that spiritual opposition will try to stop you. The enemy doesn't waste time attacking people who pose no threat, but if you're destined to free people, heal people, wake people up, you become a target. These attacks often come right before a breakthrough, right before you step into a new level of your purpose, right before you're about to do something that will change lives. If you've experienced this, seasons where it feels like you're fighting invisible battles, it's not because you're cursed, it's because you're chosen. The darkness is trying to stop you before you fully step into your light. And if you're still standing after everything you've faced, that tells you everything you need to know about who's really on your side. 8. You have an unquenchable thirst for truth. Sign number 8, you're obsessed with finding truth. You can't accept easy answers. You can't just believe something because everyone else does. You dig deeper. You seek understanding. You won't settle for surface-level knowledge. This probably makes you unpopular sometimes. People don't always appreciate having their beliefs challenged, but chosen people are truth seekers by nature. Why? Because God is truth. And when he calls someone, he awakens in them a hunger for reality that can't be satisfied with lies, even comfortable ones. You might feel frustrated because most people seem content with illusion. They're happy in the matrix. They don't want to wake up. but you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unknow what you know. This journey can be lonely, but it's also liberating, because the truth, as uncomfortable as it might be, is what sets you free. And chosen people are meant to walk in freedom so they can lead others out of bondage. Your relentless pursuit of truth isn't stubbornness, it's divine calling. Keep digging, keep questioning, keep seeking. The answers you need will be revealed at the right time.
9. You've had a dramatic transformation. Sign number 9. You've been through a major spiritual transformation. There was a moment, or maybe a season, where everything changed, where the old you died and a new you was born. Maybe it was a rock-bottom moment. Maybe it was a spiritual awakening. Maybe it was a sudden revelation that shifted your entire perspective. This transformation probably wasn't comfortable. In fact, it was probably painful. You had to let go of old identities, old relationships, old beliefs, old ways of being. You had to shed skin that no longer fit. This is what the Bible calls being born again. It's not just a religious concept. It's a real, lived experience of death and resurrection. The caterpillar has to completely dissolve in the cocoon before it can become a butterfly. If you've been through this, you know there's no going back. You've seen too much. You've changed too much. The person you were before doesn't exist anymore. This transformation is proof that God is preparing you for something new. He's upgrading your operating system. He's equipping you with the mindset, the strength, and the wisdom you'll need for the next chapter of your journey. You're not who you used to be, and that's exactly the point. 10. You feel a calling that scares you. And finally, sign number 10. You feel called to do something that terrifies you. Maybe it's speaking your truth publicly. Maybe it's leaving a secure job to pursue your purpose. Maybe it's healing from trauma and then helping others heal. Maybe it's creating something that exposes you to judgment and criticism. Whatever it is, it's big, it's risky, it's vulnerable, and it scares the hell out of you. Here's what you need to know. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. If your calling felt easy and comfortable, you probably wouldn't need God's help to accomplish it. But the things God calls His chosen ones to do are always beyond their natural abilities. They require faith. They require courage. They require complete dependence on divine strength. Moses said, "I can't speak well enough." Jeremiah said, "I'm too young." Esther said, "I could die." But God said, "I chose you anyway, and I will be with you." Your fear isn't a sign that you're not ready. It's a sign that what you're called to do is significant enough to require supernatural help. And that's exactly where God wants you, completely dependent on Him, knowing that whatever you accomplish will be because of His power, not yours. If there's something tugging at your heart, something you know you're meant to do but you're terrified to start, that's probably it. That's the thing you were born for. So there you have it, 10 signs that you are chosen by God. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Being chosen isn't about being better than anyone else. It's not about being special in a way that makes you superior. It's about being called to serve, to sacrifice, to carry a weight that most people will never understand. Being chosen comes with a responsibility. You can't ignore your calling and expect to live in peace. You can't hide your light and expect to feel fulfilled. You can't run from your purpose and expect to find happiness. If you recognized yourself in these signs, you have a decision to make. You can keep living in denial, pretending you're ordinary, playing small to make others comfortable. Or you can step into who you really are and start walking the path that was laid out for you before you were born. It won't be easy. In fact, I'll be honest with you, it will probably be the hardest thing you ever do. But it will also be the most meaningful, the most fulfilling, the most aligned with who you truly are. You didn't find this video by accident. You're here because it's time. Time to stop doubting. Time to stop hiding. Time to step into your calling and become who God created you to be.
The world is waiting for what only you can give. Don't make us wait any longer. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below and let me know which sign hit you the hardest. And if you're ready to embrace your calling, share this video with someone who needs to hear it too. Remember, you were chosen for a reason. Now go be the light this world desperately needs.